All right. So can somebody please brief about what we discussed last time?
Anybody who would like to volunteer, please raise your hand or maybe unmute yourself and answer to the query. Yeah, mental wellness,
Okay.
please.
Good evening, Jitendra sir.
Good evening.
So in the previous session, we discussed about the problem statements like the simple statements, complex statements, and the wicked statements, and the design approach, like we have to research for the problem and how we tackle these problems in a structured way.
Yeah.
Collaborative part as well, we discussed about how we need to collaborate for solving our problems with people from
Yes.
the respective domains.
Yes. Yeah. Very rightly explained and brief. I think we talked about how we can possibly look at problems, how we are seeing problems in our day-to-day life, and how we are possibly trying to handle those problems. Many times we take up challenge and try to resolve those problems. Mostly in our households, we see some issues happening in and around. We try to resolve them by doing some fix, by bringing some sort of like tools, means, materials. Yeah, these are sometimes straightforward problems, simple problems, and there are solutions available. Sometimes you try to devise some sort of like innovative approaches to resolve those problems which are in and around us all across. Yeah. Sometimes you make it as a mission to resolve. Yeah. We discussed about how we take up problems which are our personal problems or problems which are faced by us. Yeah, many times we do this, no? So, but many times we take up problems which are others' problem. Yeah. So, others' problem means you have encountered this problem, you have seen somebody suffering from the problem, and you are trying to resolve that problem. Okay, I'll share with you one of the articles. Just read this article. Okay, just give me a minute.
I would request everyone to please switch on your cameras. Would be great, like if we can make it a more of an interactive session. And also rename yourself by your team name.
Just a moment. I'll search for a very interesting model in the palliative care. Kerala's model of like how they are looking into palliative care and how there is a community sort of like initiative to resolve care related to elderlies uh, who are into some sort of like either terminally ill elderlies or in some cases people who really need a long-term sort of like support are taken care by a social initiative. Yeah? Initiative by one of the doctor who saw some problem in the society, faced some issues personally, and realized that this problem need to be resolved. I'll share that article. Just give me a minute. And this has become a big mission, and whole state is working on it and trying to resolve this problem. Yeah, across the India, almost like only just 2% of the palliative needs are addressed across the India. Yeah, we don't have such mechanism that we can possibly provide palliative care to needy patients or needy people in society. On the other hand, in Kerala, almost like 60% such patients are being addressed through different means. So it's a drastic difference just because of this initiative. Yeah. So problems which are in and around us, there are people who really look into those problems, realize that those problems need to be worked on. Sometimes they make it a mission and try to resolve those problems by collaborating with people, bringing more sort of like-minded people to join those initiatives, and becomes a revolution. Yeah. So that is the idea right now. We are discussing about how we are looking at problems and how possibly have better understanding of those problems. We have almost 36 people right now, and number is growing. So maybe we can take a few more minutes for them to join. Yep. Okay. In the meantime, can we discuss about what type of problems we discussed that day? Healthcare problem, agriculture problems. Somewhere we have problems related to education. Almost like 23%, 23 number of problem statements are coming from education sector. So who are those people who have taken up education problem? Can you please, in a statement, in a single line, you can possibly talk about your problem? Is there anybody who has taken up education as a problem?
Yes, Velika Gupta, please like unmute yourself and
Amit,
yeah, Amit is there.
Amit Gautam.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi, Amit. Yes,
Okay.
please.
How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm good. Please share about your problem, what you have identified as a problem.
Sir, we are providing mentorship and guidance for the students who are preparing for competitive exams such as JEE and NEET because the competitive landscape is so much crowded that students are
Absolutely.
not
Yeah.
getting personalized guidance even after paying lakhs of rupees in high volume coaching centers. So we are solving that problem.
Okay. So what is something you felt is really required to be done?
Sorry, sir.
What is something which you feel that need to be done in this domain? Competitive exams, guidance. What is the bigger problem?
Yeah, the problem is that in coaching center, there is a strength of approximately like 300 to 350 students in a single batch. And the teacher just
Yes.
came and just teach but students don't get the idea that what the teacher is teaching. And even after the class, they are not getting the idea that how to study for the exam, what to study for, how to like do the basic things. So these small steps compile up and then they can't grasp things in such a short interval of time when the exams comes. So students are always looking for mentors who can guide them for the exams also.
Okay. So in this case, what is the problem? You haven't told us the problem.
So yeah, this is the problem that students are not getting personalized guidance even after paying such a high amount of money
So
in
are
big
you are
coaching.
you providing some sort of like aid to coaching centers so that they can possibly provide one-on-one sort of like guidance?
No, we are like conducting it from ourselves. We'll
Okay,
connect
so you
the
are
student with the
providing some solution in similar manner the way coaching centers are providing some sort of like learning training aids. Those aids will be provided by you, and that will be more personalized.
yes, sir. The
Okay, so
from
personalized
the yeah,
guidance.
yeah, from the students who are in currently like the top government colleges like IIT, NIT, AIMS. So the students
Okay,
from these colleges will be the mentors on our platform.
all right. Yep. Okay, we'll discuss this if we get a
Sure, sure.
chance. Okay, any other problem on the education domain? Somebody else also raise
Yes,
hand
like there
sometimes
was this
fast.
one girl, she raised her hand. Velika Gupta, I guess. Velika, please unmute yourself if you're trying to speak. Okay.
Anybody else who has taken up education as a problem domain or opportunity domain, we should call it. Okay, there is somebody. Ishita.
Ishita. Yes, sir.
Yes, Ishita,
Hi,
please.
Saurav. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So my problem statement is somewhat related to education, but it's for providing maybe providing accessibility to visually impaired peoples.
Okay.
It's more somewhat inclined towards it. It's like we are increasing the accessibility of making them understand STEM concepts. It's like science and mathematics. So through our software embedded system, we are focusing on, making the product out for science and mathematics. Now, the
Okay.
problem over here is that when it comes to government schools or maybe private schools as well in India or all over the entire world, what happens is that after post 8th standard, these people aren't provided with the resources to study science and mathematics, whether it be
Okay.
Braille. Now, when it comes to Braille is nothing but just 6 dots. So, using those 6 dots and understanding what exactly is the shape of a letter, maybe what actually a square is. So, they are not able to figure out that what is the shape of a square. That is what we are doing. We are coming up with a product which is a tactile based technology,
Okay.
including some haptic feedbacks, wherein it is like virtualize, like, imagine it like VR technology, wherein the person is touching the things and having the vibration sort of thing when it touches that exact thing, and understanding
Okay.
that okay, what is the shape of a particular square, and this entire thing could be controlled with their device, that is mobile application, and that particular mobile device could be operated via voice. So this is what we are targeting, to increase the employability opportunities as well as literacy rate, because a very
Absolutely. Yeah.
major section of a major statistic of employability rate comes from these disabled people. Now, when we take it to a bigger picture, it not only, secludes only visually impaired. We can target deaf communities, we can target other disabled community as well, but that's a
Absolutely.
bigger picture.
Yeah.
But the very basic picture is the thing we are focusing for now is till 8 to 10 standard of visually impaired schools. We have done a lot of market research, we have validations from people, and yes, this has a future scope. So yeah, that's our
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a much bigger problem than what you have explained here. I think this is not
yeah,
the scenario only with the uh, high school or higher secondary schools, but also in the institutions, bigger institutions, higher education institutions, professional education institutions. This problem is absolutely like common and present there.
agreeable,
And we
sir.
have no,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I was just focusing on our target audience in the initial stages
Yes, yes, yes. No, so
because
what will happen possibly at the 10th and 12th level schools, if this is resolved, then possibly it will make way for larger institutes, higher education institutes to look into this domain. So I think it's a good step. Doing some
exactly.
early aids would be a great sort of like help for people with disability.
Yeah. Thank you so
Absolutely,
much.
good
So
problem.
any inputs from your
So
end?
we'll have some presentations, and we'll see if we get your presentation also to see. And we'll
Sure,
try
sir.
to discuss about 4 or 5 problem statements today. And then through
Yeah,
those problems, maybe from 5 different sectors, we will try to invite presenters to present their problem statements. And then we will see how we can possibly have more discussion on individual topics.
sure, sir. So
Yep.
just a thing that I haven't prepared the concrete pitch for the presentation for now. I have presentation. I've done that because I was busy with some college work today, having my
All right.
exams back. So yeah.
Yes. All right. So you all have to, all the groups have to submit their assignments as fast as possible. I'm not saying today
Great.
itself, but I think before the next session, I think this assignment should be completed. Based on today's discussion, I will suggest that all the groups should complete their work and submit their assignments. Yeah. So if you are not getting time today, maybe there is a long weekend. And as per the requirement, as mentioned by Saurabh, I think everybody should complete this task before we start our next session.
Yes, sir,
Sure, sir.
definitely.
Thank you so
So, shall we start? Shall we have the quick recap on the session we had earlier? Just a moment.
Definitely, sir. We can like go ahead with
Yeah.
that. I would just request everyone to please switch on your cameras. Just make it a more of an interactive session and interactive workshop, I would say. Just a request to everyone.
It's taking some
Even
time
if you're
to.
traveling or maybe in bus or like in car or something, just please switch on your cameras.
Okay, guys, those who are possibly on road or in some situations where there are safety issues, please avoid those situations. Yeah, I can see somebody, Raj Singh. You're outside and you are you should be very careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I was going inside metro station.
Okay, Raj, be careful, yeah, because this is very engaging. Sometimes you forget where you are and you might invite some sort of like danger. Yeah, so please
Or
be careful.
Also, it is like more of a I don't know. This is what I feel ki we remember faces rather than names more often. So it would be great like if your speaker would be evaluating you. So please switch on your cameras for that.
Yeah. So switching on camera is very critical. Those who are in
Yeah.
right sort of like conditions, please switch on your camera, guys. It's very important. I'm able to see some faces, but not all. So it will be really good if everybody is on screen. Yep. Okay, so I'll share my screen and quickly we'll go through some information. Then it will immediately take up the uh, individual cases. 4 windows. All right. This possibly you will be able to see. Okay, so that day we discussed. I think we ended here. So we planned that we will discuss today the discussion and refinement of problem statements. On the go improvements we will be doing. So we will have presentations and we will start discussing each problem, and I'll be possibly be commenting on what type of measures can be taken to refine those problems. Then we'll be understanding and choosing right problem to be solved. So we'll possibly lead to some problems which are to be defined and to be taken forward in a more precise manner. Maybe you are already working on certain type of solutions and you can refine your approach or you refine your statements to address to or maybe align with the idea of problem you have taken up or the solution you are working on. Then we'll be talking about contextualizing problem, like in terms of enterprise development, how you should look at those problems. As a social enterprise, how you should possibly look into nuances or refine sort of like approaches to make it more workable, more viable as an enterprise. So that is going to be the future assignment, but definitely that preparation should also we'll be discussing here today. That day we discussed about how we define a problem statement in a social context. So basically we discussed that description of ideal scenario should be part of your problem statement. It should also bring in some sort of like context and background. It should present the gaps which are there in the present scenario, which you have already identified through your secondary research, through your primary research in some of the scenarios, and you have established that there are definitely some gaps which need to be worked out. That should be part of problem statement. The issues caused by the problem in present scenario. What type of challenges we are facing? The way we have discussed just now, like how the coaching centers are possibly not able to address to the requirement of students who are paying huge amount of money. They're investing their time. They're risking their career by looking into some possibilities through coaching centers. And in those scenarios, if they are not provided right inputs, right sort of like guidance, then it's a problem. So you can possibly talk about the problems in the present scenario. It's very important to establish your problem. Yeah. Why you need to solve this problem? Because there are big number of people who are deprived of right way to get education, especially in the disability scenario, as Ishita has mentioned just now. Yeah. And what could be the solution in that scenario? How we are going to provide that solution through technology, through maybe some sort of like approaches, some platform or some means to resolve those issues may be presented or maybe indicated in the problem statement, and how our users are going to be benefited out of it is the broader domain of it. You might miss out or might emphasize on one or the other points more. There is a possibility. Yeah. That is not an issue, but it should basically bring out a story, a sort of like story in the context of problem statement. Yeah. And it should be easier for the audience to understand what problem you're talking about and why you are really needing to solve this problem. Is the larger objective of having a problem statement. Yeah. If we try to simplify problem statement, yeah, it has a context. Yeah. On one side, we are talking about the context where we are dealing with the problem, where we are looking into users, stakeholders. So users are those who are basically going to get benefited. Stakeholders, those who are going to provide those solutions or maybe helping us to reach out to people and solve those problems. Maybe administrators, maybe facilitators and all. Then comes the surrounding, in what system, in what context, in what environment we are going to provide that solution. A problem of education in rural context is going to be different than a problem in urban context. A problem in developed country might be very different than the problem which we are facing in the developing countries right now. Yeah. In the context of developing countries, maybe 10-year-old problem might not be a relevant sort of like problem, or the solution which were created 10 years back might not work today. Yeah, because systems have changed and the surrounding environment has changed. Yeah. And what are the priorities we have? Like, are we really wanting to solve a problem which is impacting more number of people? Or are we looking into the problem which are affecting less number of people, but they have never been addressed so far? Like disables have not been looked into to provide them better education systems, means and approaches. Yep. So in those cases, we set our priority and we say that we are working for these groups and this is how we want to possibly make their life better. Is the context. It's very, very, very important to define your context. Yeah, many times we forget in what context we are working on. So if you have good idea of what type of context you have in hand, it is more easier for you to take your problem forward. Yeah. If context is evolving, which is a very common sort of like scenario in social sector and social complexities, context is always evolving. The target audience which you were feeling are poor and not able to afford something 10 years back are having a lot of other means right now. They are having mobile phones, motorbikes, yeah, motorcycles, they have scooters, they have. So those eras are gone when people used to say, okay, poor men will have a cycle only. Yeah, that time is not relevant today. So they are affording, they are able to afford this. But they cannot afford a good house. Possibly they cannot afford good education. They are struggling with healthcare facilities. Possibly they are spending too much on certain things which usually the person who has affordance uh, uh, and who is able to who can be called non-poor is able to afford those. Yeah. And there are a list of multiple such things which are not being afforded by the poor people right now. Yeah. So that context has changed. Yeah, mobile phone or motorbikes or having a basic house shelter is not a big problem right now. Yeah, or having good clothes is not a problem. Roti kapda makan things are gone. Yeah, but poor men are still poor. They are still struggling to meet their ends. Yeah, the requirement of food has changed from 2 meals a day to nutritious food, a balanced diet has become a real sort of like challenge today. So that way that context need to be defined. You have to ensure that that is in place. Second will be the scope of your problem, how you are going to solve something which is very critical, very important based on the priorities you have set. So you will be looking into in terms of scope, what is the purpose of doing this? What type of activities you will be doing to solve that problem? That is basically the scope. Whether you will reach out to all villages, whether you will reach out to all cities, you will reach out to maybe some communities or some economic sections, or maybe you will be working for some special groups which are really needy in these scenarios. Yeah, and by doing what, like you will be solving this problem. Yeah, you will possibly provide them means, maybe materials, or you will provide communication, awareness, and all. So that is going to be the activity which need to be defined here in your problem statement. The outcome in the form of maybe visuals, in the form of materials, in the form of products, in form of service, in form of strategies, approaches, funds. Yeah. To do all these activities for achieving all these objectives, what is going to be the budget? what type of time frame you are going to keep in your mind to meet certain milestones or get some achievements, are going to be some sort of like scope in the project, in the activity. The significance of it, like it is very critical. A lot of time we miss out on significance of our problem outcome, why we are taking up this problem. Yeah, we many times go by saying, okay, we are going to provide them some aid, some sort of like solutions. But what is the significance in the larger context, which you need to visualize, which you need to possibly imagine as a creative person, as an imaginative sort of like ability, you have to have those sort of like idea what you are going to achieve by doing this. So benefits, immediate benefits, maybe the disabled will be able to read and write, but significance is much, much beyond than reading and writing or maybe using those materials, getting those aids. The significance of this initiative for a disabled might be to provide them more opportunities, more sort of like prospects for getting work or livelihood, or maybe empowering through building their self-confidence, or the significance of doing such activity, which need to be observed rightly, imagined rightly, and documented rightly. What type of change we are going to bring in the society? When we do some intervention, some changes are happening, and changes are having multiple effects. They have ripple effects. They go much beyond than what you basically can imagine. Yeah. So by doing so, what type of changes are happening? Not only in the domain of the users, but also in the society. The whole society changes. I think Carnegie's intervention has not changed society in terms of literacy. It has changed society in terms of power to decide, power to use knowledge. Yeah. And that way it has transformed the whole country. Yeah. Maybe all other movements which have been derived, maybe Black movement or Black freedom movement in 50s might have been uh, 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 might have been inspired by the knowledge which was gained by the people in last 50 years. Yeah. All other movements, maybe scientific movements or maybe social movements in America, might be because of those libraries which were created by uh, Carnegie. Yeah. So changes you need to identify, impact you need to identify by doing your work and document them rightly. Yeah, you can possibly elaborate in terms of like possibilities in future, and those future might not be just 3 or 5 years later, but you can talk about next 50 years what is going to be there. Okay. We are talking about Viksit Bharat initiative. The government is uh, pushing this idea a lot. Yeah, they are imagining that the country which is deprived for last 50 years, 50, 60, 70 years, with the idea of development, can now imagine that country can become a developed country. Yeah, it's a great idea. I think great initiative. And if initiative takes up a right sort of like step in an early stage, this is not going to be a difficult thing. And I'm not saying this is a political sort of like initiative. It's a it's a collective initiative of people in the country, and it is not only relevant or related to one or the other political party. Possibly it will become a movement, and all governments by all political party who are going to come in next few decades will possibly be owning this idea. Yeah, this is, I think, this is how ideas should be documented, ideas should be presented. Yeah. So document this, what is going to be the challenge, change in the society, what is going to be the impact, and how it is going to sustain in terms of significance of this. The way Carnegie mentioned about how libraries are going to be there, and many of them are still like relevant in the society, still running as museums and libraries in America and in other part of the world. Yeah. So that should be the way of like leading such initiative, that it sustains on its own, it grows on its own, and keep creating an impact. Okay. So what is the impact of problem statement when you are in an early stage of your idea implementation? It's very important to look into what type of benefits are there, how we possibly get some sort of like help from problem statements, how you're going to use these problem statements in multiple other stages in your future work. Yeah, so it brings in clarity and focus. So it gives you a clear path where you are heading towards, what you really want to do, what you really want to achieve from here. Yeah, and those problem statements are also evolving. It's not that they are going to remain fixed. but that creates a base for you so that you can build on those base and then can refine your approach to providing some benefit to society. It guides research and design. So in larger sort of like context, it guides you in terms of like taking up other activities in the course of implementation. It facilitates communication whenever you are reaching out to maybe other stakeholders, maybe support resources, maybe people who are going to help you in the journey. Can be possibly provided some good communication through these problem statements. If you remember, problem statement presented by the pitch by Piyush Bansal in last concluding Shark Tank session, last session of Shark Tank. Just give me a minute. I'll share with you this. Just give me a minute. Yes. So I'll just be sharing the screen for a minute. Just give me a minute. All right. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm sharing another screen. You can hear, you can see the screen? Saurabh?
So we
Yes,
cannot
it is
hear.
visible,
We can.
but
This
like
one, yeah.
when you
This
say
one.
share, you just have to click on sound. Share
All right.
sound as well. Yeah.
Okay. Just a moment. I'll share the window. This. Is there an option to?
Yes, sir. Like as soon as you click on share,
Okay.
or right on the top share content, there would be a small button kind of a
Include
thing
sound.
and
Yeah,
include
include
sound.
sound. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. So.
ऐसे 23.5 करोड़ बच्चे के
Okay.
पास कोई 50%.
Could you hear? Could you see the video?
Yes, sir. It was audible. And
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And could you get some idea?
Yes, sir.
Guys. So it was
Yes,
so
sir, yes,
clear,
sir.
no? It was not limited to maybe creating an enterprise which is going to provide specs to people who really need them at a cheaper or maybe more accessible sort of like way. But idea was to revolutionize the domain where eye care is more critical. Yeah, where people are seeking some such type of support. Yeah, where people are deprived of such aid. Yeah. So in the pitch, basically he talked not only about the context, but he also talked about the gap and the severity which is on the issues caused by the problem in present scenario. Yeah. And by solving this, what is going to be the benefit? And he ultimately says that we are going to provide specs to 50% of Indians, like 50% Indian population. This is his mission, yeah, which is much beyond than making a company, earning some profit, reaching out to large number of people, maybe disrupting the market.
and possibly providing more sort of like trouble to all existing shop owners who are selling specs at a much higher price. This is all secondary. Yeah, the larger mission is to possibly benefit the society which is deprived, which has never been able to get some solutions, even though they have a higher sort of like need for these type of areas. Yeah, these type of solutions. Yes. Okay, so this statement basically helps you in doing this. This statement will possibly help you prioritize your work. It will help you to get right sort of like scope in place for your initiative. It will possibly help you in terms of like benchmarking your success. When you will see some success, you will be able to go back and see what you really wanted to be and what you have become in the course of implementation. And this is going to keep creating new benchmark for you or new milestones for you in the process of reaching out. Yeah, it will motivate you, maybe your teams, to look forward and create more and better solutions for the problem you have taken up. Yeah. So it can be called as inverted sort of like pyramid. Yeah, where we can possibly see how we are going to go forward, and the base is very narrow. If your problem statement is right, then possibly you will be able to get right scope. You will be able to plan better. When you plan better, your concepts will be built on that, and your sort of activities will grow with implementation of your work. Maybe you can plan for more resources, financial support, and all, which you are going to do in coming months. Then you can plan your business, and then possibly scaling up, reaching out to society, and possibly doing more sort of like impact is going to be the impact of your problem statement. Yeah. So this is what I proposed last week. Yeah, and I wanted you to present your problem with the problem statement. By defining your users and their needs, you can have one more slide to support this problem statement, how your users are affected, and what type of problem you are going to solve. Yeah, so this is the more refined sort of like statement or problem which is going to be picked up. So shall we call the groups? Maybe first group who can possibly make a presentation about their problem statement.
Definitely, sir. So any team that would like to volunteer themselves, or maybe shall I pick or announce the names? Please raise your hand. Yeah, yes, Koel, please.
All right, so we have some industry sectors. Maybe you can prepare the next 4, 5, 6, whatever presentations we are going to have. Very quick one. Maybe education, healthcare, agriculture, security. These are the 4 dominant sectors which are shared by the team. Maybe we can pick up 1 or 2 from each sector. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
just like repeat the sector, sir? Education.
So education, there are almost 23 applications. Healthcare,
Yeah,
there are 20. Agriculture, there are 11. Security, I mean, maybe the personal security, women security, and all might be the domain. So we can have around 1 or 2 from there.
sure, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sir.
So what we can do, possibly we can take some groups this time, maybe 5 to 6 groups this time, and we will not repeat them in the next presentation,
Next
which we'll be
workshop.
doing in the
Yeah.
4th session. So we'll have new groups who will be possibly briefly present their problem statement, but will be more elaborate in terms of later stage of activities. Yep. So is going to go first.
We have Yash, I guess. Yeah.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yes. We can hear you.
Good evening, sir. Sir, should I share the screen of
Yeah,
my
please.
presentation?
Yes.
Sir, is my screen shared?
Yes.
So is it visible?
Yes,
So
it is visible.
basically we are yes. So basically we are making a marketplace for eco-friendly products. So as we all know, after COVID, the people are more move into the healthy living. So they are more into buy some buy eco-friendly stuff for their healthy lifestyle. So we think there's a huge gap between this that there is no such marketplace that people can really buy their products. So we are planning to build a better marketplace for this. So users can be the individual users, B2B customers, and the product suppliers. And so we can fulfill their needs like for the individual user, they will be convenience to purchase eco-friendly products and the assurance of the quality of the product. And for the B2B customers, they can access to bulk quantities of eco-friendly products for their operations, and there will be a flexible payment option as well. And for the product supply as well, they can reach out to the broader audience, and they can easily sell their products out to their customers. And so these are some reports that after COVID, people are looking into the better health living. And so these are the user benefits. So they will be largely social impact by our platform. And it's this much.
Yes, what type of problem you are going to solve by doing this initiative? Are you providing packaging materials, or you are providing maybe the food items to be consumed, which are more healthier and more sort of like beneficial?
So we will make a marketplace for every kind of products, like from dresses to like furniture products, everything which are eco-friendly and sustainable.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is basically a more sustainable product sort of like marketplace.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. So maybe in your presentation, you can possibly highlight the importance of eco-friendly uh, products first. I think that is more critical because in present scenario, the industrial products are definitely more easier, cheaper, and they are finding more number of users. You can possibly highlight that what what is the eco-friendly product and what are the benefits of eco-friendly products first. You can possibly bring in the context that how the existing products are creating a lot of like issues which are not only the economic but environmental, and how they are being discarded and how they are ultimately going into dump yards, and how they are becoming a bigger environmental hazard. You can possibly bring in data related to those products, which are your target products. It will not happen that
Yes.
all the products will get into your domain. So maybe you can prioritize in terms of like what type of products you will be addressing to initially, maybe for first few years, which is more accessible, more easier to deal with, more easy for you to possibly manufacture and present them to the audience. Could be your possibly focus sort of like area, and where you can say that in this domain, what type of challenges or nuisance is created by the products which are already being manufactured. Yeah. And by replacing
Yes.
those products, how it is going to benefit the larger audience as well as the environment. Yep.
Yes.
So it has to be
Yes.
very clear
That's
in terms of like statement that what problem you are going to solve. Is it a problem of product, or is it a problem of environment? Yeah. Or is it a
so I
problem
think
of
it's a problem of
sustenance?
environment.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So also don't just leave it up to the marketplace. Yeah, let's say your solution is a marketplace for those such type of products where people can use those products, come and buy those products and consume and possibly get benefited. But you can also talk about the larger system of producing those products. You can talk about how craftsmen or maybe traditional industries or maybe modern industries in and around those products can possibly be benefited by doing so. Yeah. How these people will
So-
ultimately sustain the larger sort of like scenario for you to grow further. Yeah, should also be brought in here.
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir.
it will look
So it
like you are
can be
just creating.
interest.
Yeah, sorry.
Sir, making products can be a future aspect for right now.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Yeah,
Is my voice clear?
yeah.
Sir, I'm saying that making products, eco-friendly products, can be a future aspect. Right now, we are building making a website which we will list the products.
Yeah. No, all right. I can understand, but there are a lot of websites, who are selling both type of products. There are a lot of websites who are selling some same like eco-friendly products. Yeah. But see, your product is not going to be called as a craft product. Your products are not going to be called as only consumer products. There are mix of it. There is a domain which is between these two. You might have industrial products which are more eco-friendly, as well as you can have handcrafted products, which are also going to be more eco-friendly. So in the larger domain, I think you are providing opportunity, not only products to the customers, but opportunity for those who are like really helpful to the larger economic cycle. Yeah. That could be possibly a great sort of like benefit for people to associate with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't just limit to one sort of like aspect of your business. When it is a social impact, then possibly it is going to have multiple level of impacts. Yeah. So your idea is good, but if that idea is not taken to that level, then possibly it will see some struggle. Like it will have some sort of like challenges in the course of implementation. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Can we have the next group?
Yeah. Yes, you can lower your hand. Yeah, thank you. We have Gitansh. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah, you are.
I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Good evening, sir. Can I share my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Just wait a moment.
In the meantime, the rest of the teams, please be ready with your like presentation open so that you can start sharing a screen as soon as you like start speaking. Thank you.
Actually, I'm not. Okay, there it is. Just wait a moment. Sir, is my screen visible to you?
It's
we can
coming
see.
up.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Our problem that we have identified is that in the initial phase that our country is in right now, EVs are booming, right? But we do not have the supporting infrastructure. For example, EVs are coming in real fast, but we do not have enough charging stations or swapping stations. I'm unable to see you, sir. Wait a moment. Yes. So this gap is what we need to fill. This gap is what we have identified and we aim to fill. It lies in supporting and promoting sustainable transportation. We are not inherently saying that EVs are supporting environment, because as you said in your earlier presentation, most of the electricity that is produced might be coming from fossil fuels right now. But in the larger run, in future, our government is also trying that people adopt more EVs, because maybe we will switch to solar production in future. So
Yes.
electricity is the mean of driving our vehicles rather than fossil fuels. But right now, if you compare the range of an EV, let me switch to another slide. 100 to 120 kilometers is the average electric bike range that you get for an electric vehicle. Compare that to the petrol counterparts that offer you somewhere about 500 to 700 kilometers. And contrast that to number of charging or swapping stations available in the country right now. Overall, we have about 12,000 charging stations, and compare that to the 60K plus petrol pumps available in the country. EVs have short range, and right now their stations and swapping stations are available in less. That is the gap that we have identified, and that is the gap we wish to fulfill through our idea. Basically, what we will do is, for bikes and two-wheelers, we will deliver the batteries on need, just like you order stuff online through Zomato and it gets delivered to you instantly. In a similar manner, we wish to deliver batteries because two-wheeler batteries are quite portable, sir. They are made that way that you can swap them easily, you can carry them easily. Not for the four-wheeler ones, they are quite heavy, 150 to 200 kgs. That is not in our range right now, but we are thinking of delivering batteries for two-wheelers. That is the solution that we are proposing. So who are our users? Let's look into that. Basically, those EV users that have bought a bike for their local coverage, but they cannot take it for longer trips. So for that, people have either petrol counterparts, so they have a range anxiety. We need to remove that. Based on the current swapping stations or current charging stations take a lot of time, about 2 hours to 1 hour to charge your electronic vehicle. Instead, swapping is very reliable option right now for the current technology of the batteries. I cannot say if in future the technology might improve. Right now, it takes about 1 to 2 hours to charge the electronic vehicle, depending on the different vehicles. So swapping is the viable solution. And if you can get the battery delivered to you whenever you're stuck anywhere, that would be the best thing possible. That is the solution that we are trying to aim at, sir. So,
All right.
yes, that's a basic summary.
All right. So what is the problem?
So the problem is EVs having low range and less availability of the charging stations. So the buyers of electronic vehicles having range anxieties is the problem, in a brief summary.
All right. So there are two problems. One is the environmental problem, which you are saying that the things have not been like the environmental problem in terms of like electric vehicles are the need of an hour. Yeah. And they need to be taken up in a big way. Yeah,
Sure,
because
sir.
they are the one which are best alternative to possibly the fossil fuel. We are assuming that
Not right
battery.
now, because
No. We
currently,
are assuming that it is going to be the future of vehicles.
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So we
Sure.
can bank on this idea that EVs are going to be the future of mobility, and
Sure.
this need to be taken up in a big way. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because environmental concerns are much higher as we start consuming more electric vehicles, then possibly we'll have more means to possibly charging and going forward. Yeah. So this is going to be definitely the way to go. This you can establish in your first statement. Yeah. You can say that the way it should have been done. Yeah. Do you know which was the first four-wheeler? Battery or petrol? Electric or petrol? Electric vehicle. Almost 50
Which
years
was the,
back, 50 years earlier than the,
yes, sir.
yeah. So electric vehicles came up much earlier than fossil fuel vehicles. Yeah, engine was developed and made usable only in I think 1886 or something. Yeah. And
Okay.
but I think first electric vehicle was there in I think 1836, almost 50 years early. Yeah, so that way you can say that last 100 years have been lost in the process of consuming too much of like fuel and in the process of not looking into these possibilities. Could be your first statement. You can possibly define it in that way, saying that this is the load of like carbon footprint is this much. This is how the temperature has gone up in these years because of the vehicular movement or vehicle consumption. In all these scenarios, electric vehicles are becoming alternative right now. Yeah, you can talk about the present problems in electric vehicle. One is the range issue, which
Yes, sir.
can be solved either by making more capacity batteries, which is not happening right now because of the lack of technology availability, or possibly bringing in more battery in the pack, yeah, within the car, so that
But
vehicle
that
can go.
costs a lot, sir.
that is not possible. Yeah, why it is not possible? Because it is increasing load of the vehicle. Yeah, so more weight is carried by the vehicle, which is not required. Yeah, so if you want to really go for 600 kilometers, you should have double the size of the batteries, which is not a
Yes.
viable means. And by swapping batteries, it can be made much simpler, much easier, and much according to the requirement of the people. Yeah. So let's say if I'm going on outing, possibly I can take 400 kilometer battery pack. I can install it and go for 400 kilometers. But for my daily commute, maybe I can run with 100 kilometer battery pack also, which is replaceable. Yeah. And if it is replaceable, then my ownership on the battery will be much lesser. Yeah. The cost of batteries will also go down. And as and when required, people can buy batteries and install them and then give it back to people. The way we are using gas cylinders in our
Basically, it's
house.
like a subscription-based service, right?
It's a subscription. So you can possibly say that whole industry can possibly benefit not only in terms of expanding the base of electric vehicles, but also in terms of making this process faster. Yeah. If it is going to take, let's say, 5 years, it can possibly be done in 2 years if battery swapping could be the alternative. Yeah.
So not
So
only
present
swapping,
your, yeah.
not only swapping, we are that will sure for sure swapping will happen, but the main thing that we are pivoting on right now is also delivering, because they are swappable. The companies make the
Yeah,
batteries
that
that
could
they are
be ways of like, so delivery is one of the way of like reaching out to people, but there might be possibly stations as well as delivery systems that you can
Yes.
work out. I'm not talking, but you just talk about the problem, which is so severe, but nobody is understanding. And everybody is talking about range increasing by more batteries, more packs, more installed sort of like batteries. So you can possibly comment on that. Second, you can say that we are limited to the one user base, which is mostly the passenger cars or passenger two-wheelers. And we are
Two-wheelers,
not
right?
talking about commercial vehicles. We are not talking about maybe long distance vehicles and all. And this is a segment which is deprived all because of lack of these swapping technology possibilities. Yeah. So you can also say that the whole system is crippled all because of lack of these substitutes, yeah, which need to be explored right now. Yeah. As more such initiatives are there, I think it will revolutionize in terms of like more experiments and more outcome. So that is the third benefit of doing this, what you're doing right now. Yeah. You
Okay,
can
sir.
possibly bring this in your statement. It's a very powerful sort of like way to possibly bring change in the whole industrial scenario. A lot of people are talking about it. So you may talk about innovation in swapping systems or maybe delivery systems and all in a later stage. But I think you should highlight this problem as a more severe or more sort of like critical problem in the battery systems, the battery vehicle system, electric vehicle system. Yeah.
So
I think
basically
people will
divide,
buy your idea.
yes, so basically divide the problem statement into first the environment push that we will be having, second the innovation, and third the impact that we will be bringing on the
Yeah.
users.
Yes. And don't
Okay.
limit your problem only to the swapping. No, it's very limited approach. I think your
Swapping.
problem should be taken at a level where you're talking about the mindset, where you are talking about the infrastructural constraints, where you are talking about hesitations of people who are not buying electric vehicles because of these issues. Nobody is thinking about nowadays, all the advertisements are talking about jungle ride and this ride and that ride. But how many people really want to take their vehicles beyond 150 kilometers, even though they have capacity of 300 kilometers? All because of fear and apprehensions they have about possibility
The
of
capacity.
recharging, capacity, assurance of like whether vehicle will come back or not.
Yes, sir.
And you can talk about these. These are bigger problems than the batteries. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
So try to bring those points. Elaborate your problem statement in terms of like it's not a problem limited to a vehicle and a person, but it's an industry-wide problem. It's a problem of like future of the industry, how it is going to grow in next 5-6 years. And that can be possibly triggered, that can be possibly accelerated by bringing those sort of like input. And your initiative can possibly make that change. Could be your closing statement where you can talk
So
about what type of
we need
innovation
to
and all. Yeah.
scale away from just delivery and swapping to other things. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not commenting on your innovation right now. Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
talking about the problem.
Only the
Possibly once your problem is defined, then you can possibly plug in yourself in right sort of like manner, saying that, okay, if this is the problem, this is how I'm going to solve the. if your problem is well defined, then possibly you can also find some alternatives, some enhancement in your outcome also.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on this? Do you want to help?
एक्चुअली सर हमारे कॉलेज की जस्ट अभी हम कॉलेज से फ्री हुए थे, तो अगर आप पहले हमारा पीपीटी देख लेते तो ज्यादा बेहतर रहता, मतलब हम घर चले जाते फिर उसके बाद.
Okay. Digi Dava.
दीदी दवा पर जी.
Okay, I'm not able to see your full name. So what is your good name?
गीतांजलि.
गीतांजलि. Okay, गीतांजलि, आपको कोई कमेंट करना है प्रीवियस प्रॉब्लम पे?
यस सर, अबाउट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स. एक्चुअली मैं इस सबसे थोड़ा सा डिस्टेंस पे हूँ, मुझे इन सब की इतनी नॉलेज नहीं है, बट मैंने प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट सुनी एंड आई एम श्योर ये फ्यूचर में जरूर हेल्पफुल होगी.
All right. So is there any other comment? Otherwise we can take Gitanjali's problem and then discuss that problem. Yeah, okay. Gitanjali, you can make your presentation. So this is coming from the healthcare domain.
Yes, sir, from healthcare.
Okay.
सर मेरी स्क्रीन विजिबल है? मैंने अभी जस्ट स्क्रीन शेयर की है.
Yeah, yes, visible है.
या सो हमारा प्रोजेक्ट बेसिकली हेल्थ केयर से है, और मैं आपको प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट पहले एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ कि क्या है. तो जनरली क्या होता है, हमारे इंडिया में जो गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वहाँ बहुत बड़ी बड़ी लाइनें लगती हैं, जस्ट इस वजह से कि वो उनको मेडिसिन लोगों को वहां से मिल सके, क्योंकि हम भी जानते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल से फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट में मेडिसिन मिल जाती हैं, बट बाहर से हमें परचेज करनी पड़ती हैं. तो जब हम गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स में जाके चेकअप कराते हैं तो हमारा मेन मोटिव यही होता है कि अगर हमें कोई प्रिस्क्रिप्शन मिली है, कोई दवाई डॉक्टर ने लिखी है, तो वहीं से मिल जाए. पर दिक्कत सबसे बड़ी क्या आती है, पहली बात तो गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स में सारी मेडिसिन अवेलेबल नहीं होती, और जो अवेलेबल होती हैं उन्हें लेने के लिए भी बहुत बड़ी लाइनें होती हैं. और कई बार तो ऐसा होता है कि लोग इतना ज्यादा टाइम लगा के वहाँ खड़े भी होते हैं, बट स्टिल उन्हें बाद में पता चलता है कि अरे ये तो अवेलेबल ही नहीं थी. तो इस प्रॉब्लम को हम सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं. तो हमने क्या देखा कि पहले हमने इसके सोशल इम्पैक्ट देखे क्या है. मेरे ख्याल से इसका सोशल इम्पैक्ट बिल्कुल भी मतलब बहुत ही ज्यादा क्लियर है. हमने इसे 4 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया. पहली बात, यूजर्स कौन कौन से आते हैं. तो हर एक एज ग्रुप का पर्सन इसका यूजर होगा. पेशेंट्स चाहे किसी भी एज ग्रुप का हो, बट मेडिसिन लेने के लिए उसके साथ जो लोग आए होंगे वो उनको लाइनों में रुकना ही पड़ेगा. अगर वो ज्यादा उम्र का है तो और भी दिक्कत है. तो इस वजह से मतलब इसका स्कोप तो काफी है कि हर एक को इस चीज के लिए हेल्प मिलेगी अगर हम ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं. दूसरा, हॉस्पिटल का मैनेजमेंट भी बढ़िया होगा, क्योंकि कहाँ तो लोग जो हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ है वो इस चीज में ज्यादा टाइम लगा रहा है कि हम बताएं कि दवाई है या नहीं है. तो अगर हम इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर देते हैं कि हम बिना उन्हें लाइनों में लगे ही बता दें कि हाँ भाई मेडिसिन है या नहीं है, उन्हें खुद ही पता चल जाए. अब वो क्या सोल्यूशन है वो भी मैं आपको बताऊंगी कि ऐसे कैसे पता चलेगा. तो फिर तो मतलब हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट भी बहुत ज्यादा सही हो जाएगी, और दूसरा पेशेंट्स का तो काम बहुत ही ज्यादा आसान हो जाएगा.
Gitanjali, sorry for interrupting. It's just like it would be great if you can like switch off your camera because your voice is breaking. So in that case, like
okay, so
yeah, please
switch off कर लूं.
Camera switch off कर
कैमरा
लीजिए.
स्विच ऑफ कर लें आप, आवाज ब्रेक हो
Just
रही
the
है.
mic would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Please.
So I was saying कि इसलिए तो मतलब मैं थी कि इस पे कि उनको लाइन में लगना पड़ता है जस्ट, और उसके बाद भी उन्हें पता चलता है कि उन्हें मेडिसिन नहीं मिल पाती वहां से क्योंकि वो अवेलेबल ही नहीं है वहां पे. तो इस चीज को हम सॉल्व करना चाह रहे हैं. तो सोशल इम्पैक्ट इसका ये रहेगा कि पहली बात तो पेशेंट्स के लिए बहुत ईजी हो जाएगा सारा कुछ, कि अगर इतना टाइम लाइन में लगने का क्यों वेस्ट करेंगे, वो सीधा घर या कहीं बाहर से ले लेंगे या वेट कर लेंगे कुछ दिन. और दूसरा, हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट काफी ज्यादा इंप्रूव हो जाएगा. तो ये तो रहा सोशल इम्पैक्ट. तो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट में हमने कुछ डेटा का यूज भी किया कि ये एक ग्राफ है जिसमें कि दिल्ली के कुछ गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स का डेटा है कि किस हॉस्पिटल में मेडिसिन की कितनी अवेलेबिलिटी है. जनरली बहुत अगर हम सूटेबल अवेलेबिलिटी कहें तो 70% होती है, बट अगर आप ध्यान से देखें तो ग्राफ में 70% कोई भी रीच नहीं कर रहा हॉस्पिटल। तो इतनी कम अवेलेबिलिटी में भी लोग ये होप करते हैं कि काश उन्हें गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल से ही फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट में मेडिसिन मिल जाए, इसलिए वो वहाँ इतना वेट करते हैं। बट स्टिल उन्हें एट लास्ट पता चलता है कि मेडिसिन अवेलेबल ही नहीं है, तो वो निराश होकर बाहर जाते हैं और फिर जो बाहर क्लिनिक अवेलेबल होते हैं या बाहर मेडिसिन शॉप्स होती हैं वहां से परचेज करते हैं, जहां से बहुत महंगी मिलती है, जो कि सबके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं होता खरीदना। तो इस चीज को हम यहाँ सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मतलब ये हमारी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट थी ओवरऑल।
तो ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व क्यों नहीं हुई अभी तक?
सो ये प्रॉब्लम इसलिए सॉल्व नहीं हुई क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स बहुत ही ज्यादा नंबर में हैं, और अगर हमें ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है तो सबको एक साथ लाना पड़ेगा, और गवर्नमेंट को कंप्लीट जो इतने पुराने टाइम से चलता आ रहा सिस्टम है कि डॉक्टर पर्ची पे लिख के देता है दवाई, फिर वो बाहर से लाइनों में लगते हैं, ये बहुत पुराने टाइम से सिस्टम चलता आ रहा है। और इसे चेंज करने के लिए एक मैसिव मतलब प्रोग्राम लगेगा कि गवर्नमेंट को सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा, हॉस्पिटल को सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा, लोगों को अपने आप को इस चीज के लिए अडेप्ट करना पड़ेगा। तो इसलिए ये प्रॉब्लम अब तक सॉल्व नहीं हुई, क्योंकि किसी ने इतना मैसिव प्रोग्राम अब तक स्टार्ट ही नहीं किया।
बट गवर्नमेंट जैसा मैं देखता हूँ वो काफी सारी चीजों पे इनिशिएटिव्स ले रहे होते हैं। उन्होंने इसको भी तो देखा होगा ना कभी कि अच्छा ये भी करना चाहिए। जहाँ पे फ्री ऑफ
Yes, sir,
कॉस्ट
उन्होंने
मेडिसिन वो
जरूर
प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पे वो मैनेजमेंट ऑफ मेडिसिन डिलीवरी कैन आल्सो बी वर्कड आउट समवेयर, दे कैन लुक इनटू दैट एरिया।
यस सर, जरूर। अब तक उन्होंने काफी इसमें देखा है, जैसे कि उन्होंने मैनेज करने के लिए क्यूज का एक ऐसा सिस्टम बनाया जिससे कि मैथमेटिकली क्यूज अरेंज हो जाएं और लोगों की लाइनें ज्यादा देर तक रुके ही ना। जैसे कि हमने इसमें मेंशन भी किया हुआ है एक क्यू सिस्टम। तो मतलब उन्होंने कोशिश की, और साथ में उन्होंने ये भी ट्राई किया कि हम ऑनलाइन करने की कोशिश करें। बट अब तक जो हमारा इंडिया है ना, वो टेक्नोलॉजी में इतना आगे नहीं गया है कि सब लोग टेक्नोलॉजी को उस हद तक यूज करें। और गवर्नमेंट
ठीक है।
हॉस्पिटल्स में सब तरह की भीड़ होती है, मतलब
जी।
पुअर टू रिच सब आते हैं। तो पुअर पीपल या ऐसे लोग जिन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी की नॉलेज नहीं है, उन्हें ये सब सिखाना अब तक इतना पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाया। बट अब कोविड के बाद ये चीज पॉसिबल है, क्योंकि लोगों को फोन चलाना आ गया है, लोगों को क्यूआर कोड पता है क्या होता है, लोगों को ये
तो
पता है कि ऑनलाइन कैसे चेक कर। तो यस
गीतांजलि, मुझे मुझे क्या लगता है ना, आप इस प्रॉब्लम को थोड़ा सा और एलॉबरेट करें, ठीक है, इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि प्रॉब्लम है क्या। प्रॉब्लम है क्यूइंग का, प्रॉब्लम है एक्सेसिबिलिटी का, या प्रॉब्लम आप देख रहे हैं इंफॉर्मेशन का कि कितनी मेडिसिन अवेलेबल है, कैसे अवेलेबल है, किस तरीके से इंटरनली इन्वेंट्री मैनेजमेंट किया जा रहा है, या फिर प्रॉब्लम है लैक ऑफ ट्रस्ट का, लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस का इन गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम्स, जहां पर लोगों को ये लगता है कि अच्छा जाके चेक कर लो, जस्ट बिकॉज मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है मैं लाइन में खड़ा रहूं देखूं, और अगर नहीं मिले तो फिर मुझे कहीं और जाके परचेस करना ही पड़ेगा। तो इवन विथ लॉट ऑफ लाइक लैक ऑफ ट्रस्ट, लॉट ऑफ डिस्ट्रस्ट, आई कैन पॉसिबली वेट फॉर कि वो हो जाए, ठीक है। तो और इसके जो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हैं, मतलब इसके जो आउटकम है, वो आप उस तरीके से भी देख सकते हो कि जहां पूरा सिस्टम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सारी फैसिलिटीज प्रोवाइड करने या लो कॉस्ट पे सारी फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइड करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये एक ऐसा फैक्टर है जो पूरे सिस्टम को डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है।
यस सर, एग्जैक्टली।
ठीक है,
बट
तो आप
सिस्टम से
प्रॉब्लम को उस तरीके से प्रेजेंट करिए। ये बताइए कि एक हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम में ट्रस्ट का रोल बहुत बड़ा है, ठीक है, और वो ट्रस्ट आता है जब आप सारी चीजें प्रिसाइजली काम करते हैं, ठीक है। यहाँ पर आज की डेट में डॉक्टर्स हैं, हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, बाकी सब चीजें हैं, बट मेडिसिन एक ऐसी चीज है जो कि सबसे इसेंशियल है किसी को भी क्योर, मतलब करेक्ट होने के लिए, क्योर होने के लिए। और उस प्रोसेस में ये जो प्रोसेसेस हैं जिसमें मतलब आप जो वेटिंग का जो टाइम है उसको आप और भी मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स में डिवाइड करिए। वो है लैक ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, वेदर मेडिसिन अवेलेबल है या नहीं है। दूसरा डिले या जो टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस है, ठीक है। तीसरा हैसल क्या है, ठीक है। चौथा जो एंजाइटी है उस पूरे प्रोसेस में, ठीक है। पांचवा फिजिकल और मेंटल डिस्ट्रेस है, ठीक है। तो इस तरीके से उस प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करिए। मेडिसिन में लाइन में लगना केवल लाइन में लगना नहीं है, ठीक है, बट उसके साथ में होने वाली जितनी चीजें हैं वो आई थिंक ऐड करती है इस लार्जर हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम को। ठीक है।
श्योर या
तो मुझे लगता है ये काफी इंटरेस्टिंग प्रॉब्लम है, और आप उसको अगर इसको यहाँ पर ऐसे डिफाइन करेंगे ना कि क्यू जो है वो केवल क्यू नहीं है, ठीक है। जब आप प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट प्रेजेंट करें तो आप बताइए कि दिस इज नॉट द
Yes.
क्यू, दिस इज समवेयर, दिस इज वेयर वी आर लूजिंग ट्रस्ट इन द सिस्टम, ठीक है। ये क्यू आप
Yes, sir.
छोटी कर
Exactly.
लीजिए,
You are
ट्रस्ट
right.
बढ़ जाएगा। ये इंफॉर्मेशन आप प्रोवाइड कर दीजिए, ट्रस्ट बढ़ जाएगा, ठीक है। ये केवल आप अश्योर कर दीजिए
Yes.
कि आप इस जगह खड़े हैं, मतलब आपको मेडिसिन मिलेगी, आपका ट्रस्ट बढ़ जाएगा, ठीक है।
Yes, sir.
इसमें आप बाकी चीजों को भी देख सकते हो कि अगर मेडिसिन 70% भी अवेलेबल नहीं है तो क्यों अवेलेबल नहीं है। प्रोडक्शन का इशू है, सप्लाई का इशू है, इंटरेस्ट का इशू है किसी का कि अच्छा मुझे करना नहीं है ये काम, ठीक है, या कहीं और कोई चीज है जो कि इस पूरे प्रोसेस को अफेक्ट कर रही है। तो आप ना उसको भी देखिए, क्यों तो बाहर है जो दिखाई दे रही है, जिसको आप देख रहे हो, बट हो सकता है प्रॉब्लम कहीं और है,
Yes, sir.
ठीक है। प्रॉब्लम शायद सप्लाई की उस क्या बोलना चाहिए, सप्लाई सिस्टम के अलर्टनेस पे है कि जैसे ही इन्वेंट्री लो हो ऑटोमेटिकली
Yes.
सप्लाईज आनी चाहिए। पूरी पूरी कंट्री आज की डेट में सप्लाई चेन पे रन कर रही है, ठीक है। एक्सेप्शनल सिस्टम्स हमने बना डाले, वो
Yes.
गवर्नमेंट में क्यों नहीं है, ठीक है। वो इतना मुश्किल नहीं है, बट आप अगर प्रॉब्लम को राइटली डिफाइन करें तो हो सकता है कि वो सप्लाई चेन में करेक्शंस आ जाए, वो क्यूज अपने आप खत्म हो जाएंगी,
Yes, sir. मैं समझ गई.
ठीक है। तो क्यू एक बहुत छोटा सा हिस्सा है जो विजिबल है, ठीक है,
Exactly, sir.
बट उसका जो बहुत बड़ा जो प्रॉब्लम है वो कहीं और है। आप उसको वैसे देख सकते हैं, मतलब ये जस्ट मेरा एक सजेशन है, मैंने इस पे काम नहीं किया इसलिए मैं बहुत ज्यादा कमेंट नहीं करूंगा, बट मुझे लगता है आप ऐसे पर्सपेक्टिव्स लेकर आइए कि उस क्यू को डॉक्टर कैसे देखता है, ठीक है, और उस क्यू को पेशेंट कैसे देखता है, उस क्यू को फैमिली मेंबर्स कैसे देख रहे होते हैं जो लाइन में खड़े हैं, ठीक है, उस क्यू को आने वाली जनरेशन कैसे देख रही है, ठीक है।
Yeah.
क्योंकि उसकी उस जनरेशन के ऊपर तो दिमाग में आ रहा है ना कि मेरे पास पैसे होते तो मैं यहाँ खड़ा ही नहीं होता,
Yes, sir. Exactly.
ठीक है। तो आप जब देखें तो वो क्यू जो है वो बहुत सारी और दूसरी प्रॉब्लम्स को भी एड्रेस कर सकता है अगर उसको हम लोगों ने रिजॉल्व कर लिया, ठीक है। तो जो मैं
Yes.
पहले कह रहा था ना कि अगर आप उसको लार्जर उस पर स्प्रेड करें तो शायद वो क्यू प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उसका सप्लाई प्रॉब्लम है, या उसका कम्युनिकेशन प्रॉब्लम है, या उस काम को करने का इंटरेस्ट बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, या उसके पीछे की जो लैक ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी है वो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है,
Yeah.
ठीक है। और हो सकता है क्यू अपने आप खत्म हो जाए,
Yes, sir. But
ठीक है।
we are thinking of such a solution कि मतलब क्यूज सिर्फ तभी रहें कि अगर मेडिसिन अवेलेबल है, अगर मेडिसिन अवेलेबल है ही नहीं
नहीं,
तो
मैं तो ये
क्यों
कह रहा हूँ क्यू ही क्यों रहे,
मतलब वो भी ना रहे.
मैं तो
Yes,
कहता हूँ
sir.
क्यू,
ये भी.
मेडिसिन रहे या ना रहे, क्यों ना रहे, आप उसको वैसे भी देखिए ना,
Yes, sir.
ठीक है। ये मेरा एक पर्सपेक्टिव है, ठीक है। मैं जस्ट ये कहता हूँ कि
Okay.
आप क्यू को क्वेश्चन क्यों कर रहे हो, क्यों है ये क्वेश्चन करिए,
Yeah.
ठीक है।
जी सर.
हो सकता है, मतलब
जी.
कोशिश करके देखिए कि उस तरीके से, मतलब जब आप उसको मल्टीपल तरीकों से देखेंगे तो हो सकता है कि सारे हॉस्पिटल्स इस बात पे एग्री करेंगे कि शायद मेडिसिन की सप्लाई है जिसकी वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही है, या टेक्नोलॉजी का नहीं होना है जिसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम आ रही है। क्यों ना ऐसा हो कि मैं अपने मोबाइल पे चेक करूं और कहूं अच्छा ये मेडिसिन यहाँ पे अवेलेबल है या नहीं है, घर से निकलने के पहले,
Yes, sir. यही solution we have proposed actually.
ठीक है। तो वो एक तरीका हो सकता है, बट हो सकता है कि हॉस्पिटल भी कहेगा आप उसको चेक कर लीजिए, मत करिए, लेकिन हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जब हमारे पास मेडिसिन होती है तब भी हम उसको उसमें दिखा नहीं पाते हैं। इसका मतलब है कि कहीं ना कहीं
Yes.
उसके इन्वेंट्री सिस्टम का इशू है, या उसके कहीं ना कहीं उसके सप्लाई चेन का इशू है, या उसके अवेलेबिलिटी का इशू है,
जी.
ठीक है। तो अब मुझे लगता है थोड़ा सा तो उसको ब्रॉडली देखेंगे तो उसके बाद अगर आप क्यू को एड्रेस करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो आई थिंक वो रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा,
Yeah.
ठीक है। और ये प्रॉब्लम क्योंकि यूनिवर्सल है तो मुझे लगता है कि उसमें जो क्यू है उसकी डेफिनेशन बहुत लिमिटेड हो जाएगी अलग अलग फैसिलिटीज के हिसाब से, जहाँ भीड़ ज्यादा है वहाँ क्यू है, बट हो सकता है कि कुछ और भी चीजें हैं जो कि अफेक्ट कर रही हैं पूरे, मतलब मेडिसिन अवेलेबिलिटी और मेडिसिन का एक्सेस, इसको आप डिफाइन करिए क्यू से।
Okay, sir.
ऐसा हो सकता है, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है,
जी सर.
ठीक है।
मैं
और उसका
समझ
जो
गई
आउटकम
आपकी
है उसको मत लिमिट करो कि आप ये मत कहना कि इसके आउटकम से ये रहेगा कि लोगों को मेडिसिन मिलने लगेगी, वो तो ठीक है, बट अब लार्जर एस्पेक्ट, ट्रस्ट इन द लार्जर सिस्टम, ठीक है, कन्वीनियंस ऑफ पेशेंट्स, ठीक है, बेटर क्योर ऑफ द पीपल, बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोग बिना मेडिसिन के घर वापस जाते हैं अपना इलाज आधा अधूरा छोड़ के, वो सफर करते हैं, ठीक है।
जी
तो अवेलेबिलिटी के जो कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज हैं, नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी के जो कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज है, उसको भी आप उस तरीके से इलॉबरेट करो, ठीक है।
जी सर।
अब ये प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट बनाइए अच्छे से, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी पावरफुल स्टेटमेंट, ठीक है, अगर ये
थैंक यू
सारी
सर।
चीजों को
या
एड्रेस
श्योर,
करता है तो। या
या श्योर सर, थैंक यू सर।
ऑलराइट, एनी कमेंट्स टू दिस ग्रुप?
So team,
Anybody
Right,
want to
sir.
comment on
Actually,
this group?
yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Hi, sir. So actually, I would say one thing, जो आपने trust वाली बात की, so that resonates here how कि during COVID, during the end of COVID, I would say, गवर्नमेंट ने ही एक ऐप या एक वेबसाइट के उससे शुरू किया था, वेयर इन कोई भी पेशेंट ये देख सकता है कि किसी हॉस्पिटल में बेड अवेलेबल है या नहीं है। एंड उस ऐप पे भले ही वो शो कर रहा है कि हंड्रेड्स ऑफ बेड्स आर अवेलेबल, बट जब वो पेशेंट उस हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचता है तो वो डिनाई कर देते हैं कि नहीं, हमारे पास तो कोई बेड है ही नहीं। सो ये एक ट्रस्ट वाला इशू है जो इस सेगमेंट में भी आई बिलीव पर्टेन करेगा।
ओके, या तो इसको आप देख सकते हैं ना गीतांजलि, आप इस एरिया को भी आप ध्यान रखिए कि जहाँ पे एक अच्छा सिस्टम स्टैब्लिश होने के बाद में भी अगर वो अश्योरेंस नहीं दे पा रहा है या वो फॉल्स इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, तो आई थिंक इट्स अ बिग डिटरेंट। Anybody else? It's a very valid point. Yep, it's very valid point.
So
Yes.
yes, sir. Also, I would also like to highlight one thing. First of all, this is a like great problem that you are trying to solve. But मैंने एक साल medtech startup में ही काम किया था, and we were working on UHI part as well. If you know about UHI, it's Unified Health Interface, similar to what UPI is. तो
Yes.
उसको हेल्थ जितना भी हमारा हेल्थ इकोसिस्टम है इंडिया का, वो इतना फ्रेगमेंटेड है, उसको यूनिफॉर्म करने के लिए वही बनाया जा रहा है। और ये मेडिसिन वाला पार्ट हम लोग भी अपने ऐप में इंटीग्रेट करने का प्लान कर रहे थे पहले, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये आती है जब मेडिसिन की बात आती है। सबसे पहले तो ब्रांडेड मेडिसिन ने इतना ज्यादा मार्केट कैप्चर कर रखा है क्योंकि कमीशन सेट होते हैं डॉक्टर्स के, इवन गवर्नमेंट डॉक्टर्स के, कि रेफर करने पे उनको एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट ऑफ कमीशन मिलता है, इसलिए जेनेरिक मेडिसिन इतना ज्यादा उसमें नहीं आ पाती। और जब मेडिसिन की बात होती है तो अगर किसी को 200 रुपए भी ज्यादा देना है, वो वही लेगा जो डॉक्टर ने उसको लिख के दिया है, बिकॉज
बिल्कुल,
द
yes.
पर्सन इजंट रेडी टू फेस द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस। तो यू कैन लुक इनटू दैट एंड आई थिंक काम
Absolutely.
आएगा ये
Yeah.
इन्फॉर्मेशन। यस,
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very important point, I think. Very relevant point. Yeah.
Sir, can I add something?
Yeah, please.
सर एक्चुअली जैसे इन्होंने बोला कि घर से निकलने से पहले आप भी बोल रहे थे कि मेडिकेशन चेक कर लेना चाहिए अवेलेबिलिटी की। तो सर ऐसे केस में तो ऑनलाइन मेडिकेशन भी है ना, जैसे अगर मुझे मान लीजिए एल्ट्रॉक्सिन या थायरोनॉम कुछ भी ऑर्डर करना हो फॉर मी, अब आई वुड लाइक गो टू मेडिसिन शॉप, राइट, आई विल सिंपली ऑर्डर। तो फिर ऐसे में प्री एग्जिस्टिंग जो टेक्नोलॉजीज है, फार्म इजी है या कोई भी मेडिसिन एप्स है, तो ये इनका कंपटीशन नहीं बढ़ा देंगे इस केस में?
देखिए, मुझे लगता है ये दो पैरेलल स्ट्रीम्स हैं। एक तो है जहाँ पे कि प्राइवेट सप्लाईज हैं, जहाँ एनीबडी कैन हैज अ अपॉर्चुनिटी टू ऑर्डर एंड गेट द डिलीवरी. On the other hand, I think parallel system need to be run by the government or maybe the supportive sort of like organizations who can possibly provide some similar support in this domain. I think with sort of like invent of multiple online channels, the problem has not been resolved so far. So I really feel that the problem is still there, and then problem need to be redefined and need to be addressed in a more sort of like contextual manner. Yeah, it is not fit for all sort of like solution in given situation. So I really feel a lot of scope is there in this domain. And as Adrika is mentioning, no, there are nexus, there are people who are already into the system who will not allow things to change so easily. So maybe Digi Dava need to look into all those aspects also. How it can possibly make it easier for people to access those facilities. How it is more intuitive, more easy to engage with sort of like system. Where interventions from such influences are lesser. Yeah, government has more authority and more control over systems. Yeah, whether it is a doctor or maybe it's a medical so medicine suppliers. I think government has to have that control.
Yes, I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
It's
may I
a very
present?
interesting problem. It's a wicked problem, no? Which we were
Correct.
discussing that day. It's a very wicked problem. You solve on one place, you provide technology, there are other issues. If you provide maybe more communication, there are other issues. If you provide more manpower, I think issues will be much different. So it's not one short solution for such type of problems. Yep. Okay. Next group.
Yeah, may I present my screen now, sir?
Yeah.
I hope the screen's visible.
Yes, we can see. You need to possibly make it full screen.
Yeah,
Right.
please. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So good evening, everyone. I am RN Tiwari, and I am the founder of Parihar India. And through this company, sir, our focus, as the name suggests, is to remove the difficulties from people's life. And one of such difficulties that various people, specifically women, face, women in fact encounter on a daily basis, is having to use a public washroom. Unfortunately, sir, if we talk about any public washroom, whether it be a Sulabh Shauchalaya or a washroom in a mall or a hotel, none of the washrooms are completely hygienic. So whenever a woman has to, relieve herself, she only has three options: either to control her pee, which can result into various UTIs. Then the other option is to hover over the seat, which is very uncomfortable for women, and most women prefer not to. And the last option that women dread the most is to use the unhygienic toilet seat, which can result in the spread of E. coli, streptococcus, and cause dermatitis, hepatitis A, and various allergies. And so we saw how diseases can spread and turn into a pandemic.
Hmm.
So, sir, keeping Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in mind, to avoid all this, we came up with a solution wherein through our toilet seat covers, initially we'll be moving on with a toilet seat cover, which will be formed of a non-porous and an undissolvable sheet material, sir, for protecting a user from these disease-causing microorganisms. So, sir, basically we'll be moving on with two models, two product lines, I should say. First will be a non-woven fabric. The other will be a wood pulp fabric, keeping in mind sustainability as well. So basically, this is the problem that we are targeting, and to basically make sure that our product is available to everyone, to our end user at a free cost. Our target market will be public restrooms, malls, restaurant, hotels, basically a B2B model, wherein for our end user, the product will be available through our dispenser in the washroom stalls at a like for free, basically. Afterwards, we'll move on to a D2C model.
All
Basically,
right.
sir, this is
Yeah. All right. So I think it's a well-defined problem. The problem of hygiene issue and the consequences of maybe not using toilets in public scenario.
right.
So I really see there are two levels of problem. Yeah, one is the problem of material which is already there installed and need to be used or being used by the people. And second problem is also the problem of lack of awareness and lack of sort of like right public behavior in some scenarios.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Definitely, sir. Because if I'll add one thing here, the major problem here is the toilet seats in India, whether it be even in a mall or a hotel, wherein we expect top-notch quality and everything to be hygienic. The toilet seats even there are wet. You don't know if it's just water or if it's urine. So
yeah.
that creates a difficulty in a person's mind, in a woman's mind, wherein all this can lead to various diseases. And currently I've read various research papers as well that prove that various UTIs have spread in even college campuses, in the hostels, or even in office complexes, wherein a woman or even a man as well, like If
Yep.
I talk about our Ayurveda, it suggests that a man should also pee while sitting on the seat. So at the end of the day, it is essential for everyone, and various diseases can spread through toilet seats.
All right. So maybe my suggestion is, like, in this case, you can possibly talk about two solutions. One is the solution of material, which you are trying to provide through your intervention. And
Right.
second, like, how you can possibly increase more awareness about hygiene and best practices related to toilet usage. Possibly
Right.
could be, I think, two-way impact in the society, and would possibly lead to a more healthier and more accessible sort of like toilets in the country, maybe in next 5 years, 10 years. Yeah.
Definitely.
If you just let people use these materials across the years, coming years, possibly the problem is still there. Yeah. And moment you will stop supplying
Right.
your materials, or maybe other companies will stop supplying such materials, the
Mhm.
problem will come back. Yeah. So maybe you can look it from that perspective also, how you are possibly impacting on both the sides by providing safe
Right.
toilets, as well as by providing education, awareness, support, aid, and all what are
Right.
possible.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. Thank. Yeah.
Okay. Can we have next group?
May I present next?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, please.
should we share our screen?
So I think somebody mentioned, are there two groups wanting to present together? Drishti, Ishita.
Yeah, I.
Okay, we'll
It's
have
okay.
Ishita's presentation, and then we will go for the last presentation from the other group, which who has requested just now.
Okay, sir. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
The
Ishita.
one who have presented, please lower your hand so that like we can see the others. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. I'm Ishita Kapoor. I'm from eDrishti. Let's begin. Okay. So, imagine a world where education is not a privilege, but a fundamental right accessible to all. Yet, for the 70 million visually impaired individuals in India alone and the staggering 2.2 billion worldwide, this fundamental right remains elusive. Only a mere 5% of visually impaired individuals globally and a decimal 1% in India are literate. This is a stark reality that we cannot afford to ignore. But why is this case? It's simple. One education policy does not fit all. We cannot expect blind individuals to thrive in an educational system that is not equipped to cater to their unique needs. Consider this. Despite the millions invested in visually impaired education globally, resources remain scarce, leading to wasted time and lost opportunities. Just think about the countless bright minds being diverted from literacy due to the lack of accessible materials and proper support. Our recent survey highlights the glaring gaps in visual impaired education in India. Limited specialized schools teaching science and maths, scarcity of braille materials, superficial explanations of practical concepts, exorbitant cost, and restricted education only up to the 8th standard. Instead, blind individuals are often pushed towards vocal training in fields like massage and handicrafts. But it doesn't have to be this way. We are eDrishti, a solution to bridge the gap in visually impaired education. We are targeting blind individuals, institutions, government schemes, association, and school associated with blind education. By increasing opportunity, literacy rates, and employment prospects for the blind, we are not just imparting knowledge, we are empowering individuals to gain self-confidence and achieve their full potential. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good statement. Yeah. So maybe when you are presenting data, I think
yeah.
you should also bring out key sort of like figures which are relevant to the problem statement. Maybe you can talk about the deficiency in terms of like outreach for the education. You can possibly talk about revenue loss in the larger context, how by not engaging visually impaired people in the mainstream sort of like activities, how the yearly economic or maybe the larger economic and social losses are there. Third,
Yeah.
possibly you can also bring in, I think very important part is like the one part of it is like the facilitation, the means, materials and all which are available at disposal. But largely, I think there is a lack of awareness also in the common people. Yeah, they are not aware of where all visually impaired person can be utilized as a skilled person. Yeah, and that is
Yeah.
not limited to only craft and what you have mentioned, craft and maybe vocal trainings and all, but they can be possibly equally capable of taking up multiple such things which are usually done by a capable person. Yeah, so that way I think you can talk about both aspects. One is the aspect of need for such type of means or maybe such type of interventions. And on the other side, also we need to educate people to make them more aware about what type of and how to deal with such situations when they have in sort of like company of such disabled person. So that way, I think it has multiple scope as social intervention. I think there are possibility not only to train people to make them be part of mainstream activities, but also to create awareness and bridge this gap of like lack of knowledge, lack of initiatives and all.
So, but for these, people, like vocational training is somewhat which is available, and
Yes.
you can't, as what we did the groundwork, they told us that vocational training is something which we cannot learn via any software or something. So government
Yeah, yeah.
has these camps and everything organized.
Yep.
So we majorly focused on providing them with the thing which are the, which they are being deprived of, that is science and mathematics education, and
Yes, yes.
the part
No, no,
that
I
is being.
completely agree. My point is like added advantage or maybe a long-term impact of your initiative could also be highlighted here. Yeah,
Right.
which is possibly making people who are associated with such people will be more aware, more sensitized, more sensitive towards them. Yeah.
Right.
So one
And
of the very interesting sort of scenario I came across, one of my student in a common course was not uh, able to hear anything. She had some hearing difficulty. Yeah, and she used to rely on transcripts to understand whatever a teacher or speaker is talking about. And
right.
she was giving us a mic which was basically converting that data into a mobile device text screen transcript. Google Transcript is the tool. Yeah. And when we were interacting with the student, me and my other colleague faculties, we realized that how severe this problem is. We never came across such situations earlier. Yeah. And we realized that this need to be resolved and it need to be made a standard practice in all auditoriums or all classrooms. Or maybe we can have special classrooms where we have those devices, or those devices could be easy to install, easy to maintain, easy to move from one classroom to other. And we are working on that system. So my concern was not to introduce a device in the given situation, but I also thought that why not people are aware of these type of challenges? Yeah, why they are not aware of such type of situations so far? Yeah, and lack of
Agreeable.
awareness is also a big problem. Yeah, if I am and my colleagues and my fellow like students and all are not aware of such type of complexities, that also need to be corrected. That is what I'm saying, that by your intervention, that possibility can also be highlighted.
So, what do you propose? Like, what could be the
Stay with
basic
your
means?
idea. I think stay with your idea. You're on right track. But I think also include possible or maybe existing lack of awareness in the common people about such disabilities and challenges and possibilities.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, my question was, it's, yeah, okay, awareness and everything. I totally understood your points, appreciable. But I actually, my team is facing the gap that how to, spread awareness, whether we should go for setting up some campaigns or exactly what could be the means.
So means could be possibly maybe once you are launching your device or once you are taking this initiative forward, I think engaging multiple people at multiple levels could be the possibility to spread awareness about these means or these sort of like initiatives. Maybe one could be the CSR initiatives, could be one good target, sort of like this thing. Yesterday's, I think, again, TED Talk, and somebody asked a question to Piyush Bansal again. He asked about how you are talking about inclusivity in your organization. And Piyush Bansal was talking about that they have initiated, intentionally, they have brought in measures to hire people in different levels who are disabled at different sort of like activities. So those who have mobility related challenges, so they have been hired in telecalling services where they can talk to people and they don't need to go away or far from their places and all. And for other different disabilities, they have incorporated some measures to hire those people. And he is talking about we are very inclusive in terms of workspace. And that is one of the way to spread awareness, because when some similar people will be there in my organization, I'll be more sensitized. I'll be more aware about, I'll be more concerned and more sort of like uh, accepting to those situations. But if I have never come across such situations, then this is a problem. This is a problem possibly created by the organization. Yeah. So I think one good
Right.
way is to engage organizations whenever you take it forward, possibly collaborate, ask people to come forward, take your ways, solutions, promote your initiative in much bigger way. I think bigger impact will be the device and systems will definitely be a big impact, but I think your bigger impact will be in terms of communication, outreach, making people more aware about your initiative. Is a bigger impact, I feel. A social impact, I feel.
Thanks for the valuable insights, sir. Would surely implement that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So can we have the next presenter?
Oh, yes, sir. We are sharing our screen.
Yeah, Aish.
I would request Ishita to please stop sharing his screen. Thank you.
Sir, India basically fails to address the problem of mental health in our society. We take it very lightly. So our app basically helps to identify the user where whether it is the time to go to some consultation or a psychiatrist or doctor. And for doctor, it helps to track the daily tracking of their patient, their condition, their physical movements, their stress, anxiety, and sleep orders. So the problem in India are that the mental health
Not audible, Aish.
If we lost you, if there is some network issue or something. Manas?
Your network is working. We can see your screen. Not an issue.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes.
So the wait time between the two consultations are broadened because of less of uh, professionals in this
Professionals.
sector.
Yeah.
So in meantime, the doctors cannot connect every patient that how are you, what's your health. So we have developed some features so that the patient can log in the app and they can provide their daily uh, routine and fitness when that how are their progress is going, so doctor can keep a track and no major mishappening happen in between. We provide free counseling so then we can break the stigma of offline going to doctor and
telling the mental health issues. We can also track the sleep, anxiety, and we can patient can also track that if he had to go to some mental health issues or the problem is not that severe. And so this is the basically the problem and the proposed solution.
All right. Yeah, so it's a burning issue. I think it's a very important concern, and the way mental sort of like health has been sort of like given a priority in last few sort of like years. The way not only the government agencies but also at different levels, our institutions are talking about mental well-being and they are focusing a lot in this area. I think it's a good sort of like initiative. Maybe in your problem statement, you can highlight more about what is the gap here, yeah, and how you define this gap. I was not able to get some key sort of like idea about how you define the mental sort of like illness at different level and what is the severity of that. Severity not in terms of like individual sort of like challenge, but in terms of like numbers, accessibility issues, mental sort of like models people have about uh, mental illness or issues, the lack of awareness, lack of support. Possibly you have a lot of like domains to be covered within your problem statement. Yeah, there are a lot of areas which can possibly be brought into net of your problem.
Yes, sir.
So I really see it's an amazing area to be worked on. India has a different challenge because mental issues are not just physiological sort of like challenges, but they have a lot of like impact of society, culture, mindset, uh, communication, uh, person-to-person engagements, and all. There are a lot of things which need to be considered. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir,
mental well-being in the context of India is different than mental well-being of a person who is residing in maybe America or maybe in some other country might be different. So that way, I think a social group approach could be one good solution, which you are already working on. And you will possibly do some experiments in later stage. But I think define this problem more strongly.
Sir, so basically the problem is that sometimes if patient wants to connect with doctor, the consultation time between the because हमारे देश में जो क्या बोलते हैं
So डॉक्टर
mental health
अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है या डॉक्टर
डॉक्टर
के साथ बात नहीं हो पा रही है या
हर
डॉक्टर
बार जैसे 10-15 दिन में बात होती है तो उस
बिल्कुल
समय जो पेशेंट्स है उनको ये गाइडेंस नहीं होती क्या करना है और जो डॉक्टर्स हैं वो भी अपने सब पेशेंट्स को मैनेज करना चाहते हैं पर उनके पास टाइम नहीं है तो वो हम मेन फैक्टर्स जो मेंटल हेल्थ को इशू उनकी इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं हम उनका डेटा पेशेंट से डेली बेसिस पे लेते हैं और उनका जो क्या बोलते हैं डेली ग्राफ है या डेली उनका प्रोग्रेस है उनको मॉनिटर करते हैं ट्रैक करते हैं ताकि जो क्या बोलते हैं डॉक्टर्स हैं वो
डॉक्टर
कम
ज्यादा
टाइम में
अवेयर
ज्यादा
रहे
पेशेंट्स को
हाँ
कम
आपका
पेशेंट्स
आपका
को वो
आपका अप्रोच आई थिंक ये है कि यू आर कलेक्टिंग डेटा अबाउट इंडिविजुअल्स एक्टिविटीज and different parameters and you are providing doctor more information in a simplified manner.
Yeah, so sir, doctor cannot talk to many patients because of lack of availability, as we said. So in less time, the can brief idea of what's going in the patient's life, and if something serious happens, so he can directly contact and track what the problem is. And the other is that कि खुद एक्सेप्टेंस ही नहीं है कि मुझे मेंटल हेल्थ इशू है एक्सेप्टेंस का भी बहुत तो इसमें हमने असेसमेंट का डाला है कि अगर आपको ये दिक्कतें आ रही हैं तो हो सकता है आपको मेंटल हेल्थ इशू हो आपको कांटेक्ट जरूर करना चाहिए तो हम उसके साथ हम फ्री काउंसलिंग भी देते हैं फर्स्ट कि एटलीस्ट वो अगर उनके सीवियर इशू आ रहे हैं तो वो एक ऑनलाइन काउंसलिंग कर ले ताकि उनको एक बेसिक आइडिया लग जाए फिर वो ऑफलाइन जा सकते हैं बिकॉज ऑफलाइन इज मोर productive in the case of mental health.
Yes.
So this is in India, in the context of India, the availability of doctor and awareness is the main issues that we are facing.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
All right. So any comment on this problem statement or this problem definition? I'll not call it as a statement, but a broader definition of problem. Yeah, Varsha, you want to say something?
I think
You are not audible. Varsha, we are not able to hear you.
Sir, actually, my name is Harsh, and I'm from Mate. I would like to say on this, like, there are many applications like similar to this. One girl from CS from our college is also make such application. उसका
Yeah.
नाम ID है and
Okay.
ये basically emails के लिए थी वैसे तो, पर होता क्या है मतलब लाइक इसमें एक पार्ट था कि हम मॉनिटर करेंगे उसको, तो मुझे नहीं लगता हम में से भी कोई डेली उसको मॉनिटर करेगा। लाइक कोई भी मेंटल इशू आता है तो वो किसी रीजन से आता है, लाइक प्रेशर, जॉब प्रेशर हो गया, कोई और थिंकिंग हो गई, तो वो हम शेयर तो कर पाते हैं उनसे, बट उसका कोई रिजल्ट निकलता नहीं है वहाँ से, तो इसका सक्सेस रेट थोड़ा लो होता है। और दूसरा चीज अगर हम इसमें प्रॉफिट की बात करते हैं तो हमें वहाँ पे फ्री नहीं करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर हमें प्रॉफिट जनरेट करना है तो हम उसको वहाँ पे फ्री नहीं कर सकते, तो ये एक मेन चैलेंज आता है इसमें फेस करने पे।
Okay.
बहुत से
Yeah.
लोग
Yeah, yeah, good input. I think Harsh, you have mentioned very important points, but as of now, we are not looking into the innovation and the business model. Yeah. So this is, I think, very early stage where the organization or the enterprise is looking into the domain at a much larger sort of like from a much larger perspective, and this is the time where they need to capture all these points. So your point should be taken with all seriousness. I will suggest that viability in terms of like how information is being used by individuals and the doctors, how applications, there are multiple such applications and where they are failing, where they have challenges and all, should definitely be looked from this perspective. Yeah, so that is very critical. And second is like how business model will evolve at the later stage has also need to be looked by the organization, by the enterprise. Yeah, so I think they should take care of these suggestions. Yeah, but very valid point. I think look into these aspects. But right now, this is the time when you should possibly look into how severe is the problem, how you look at the problem, why problem of mental well-being is or when mental illness is to be looked in a more serious manner. Yeah, that is, I think, bigger question. And how we can make it more easier for people to talk about, people to make connect with the right sort of like experts or maybe people in and around is a bigger problem than possibly the cure and other sort of like areas. Yeah, diagnosis is more critical right now. Yeah, so I think this is where the application will be able to help people to measure themselves and then possibly look for the possibilities, alternatives and all. Yeah. All right, so I think we could cover almost six initiatives, and I think bigger advantage. I really appreciate this platform, and I appreciate sort of your efforts and foundation's efforts to bringing in so many ideas together. And I'm very much sure that they are also talking to each other in different platforms, and they are mostly aware of each other's problem in more detail, sort of like manner, because of such conversations. This is, I think, very easy way to understand six different type of problems and look into our own problem and possibly make those corrections. So that way, I think this platform is really working in favor of all those who have participated. I really feel they should take care of the problems which they are facing and they're possibly aligning with the others in right manner. So I think, guys, please work on your problem statements. I have not been able to see the statements very clear, 2 or 3 paragraph statements, but please work on those statements in more textual paragraph sort of like manner where you talk about the existing scenario, the ideal scenarios, the challenges, gaps, and then possibilities you are bringing in as enterprise solution. So maybe we can have statements coming out from the startups in more defined manner is something which we want. Saurabh, please insist on submitting those assignments. Yep.
Sure, sir. Yeah, I hope all of you must have gone through the portal as well, like where I have assigned the task. And if you just want like a overall walk around and to how to submit the task basically, so we can just stay like for another 5 minutes and I'll take you through that as well. So yes, sir. Anything else that you want to assign them for the next so that they can come prepared for the
So
next workshop or something?
next, yeah, I'll share my screen. I'll briefly talk about what we are going to do next. And
All of you, please, like for another 10-15 minutes, like please switch on your cameras.
yeah. And so we will be, I had one of the interesting case of single-use plastic, which I'll possibly discuss, and I'll start with this brief sort of like problem statement. But upcoming session will be designing research for social innovation that we are going to have on 26th of March. We'll be meeting at same time, 5 o'clock. We will be defining context for creative opportunities. So we will look into how we define our users, how we define our market broadly. We are not going to go in detail of like market definition in terms of like doing STPs or maybe looking into TAM, SAM, SOM and all. But right now we'll be looking at from the user, from the research perspective, how these elements are important as part of research. Then we will be looking into what type of tools possibly we can make use of, the way designers make use of and they derive their own tools to understand consumer or user mindset and their needs. And then how insights for value creation we can possibly look into. That is going to be the topic of discussion on day 3 on 26th.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So I have also created the event on the portal. As soon as you like go on the portal, you would be able to see the registration link for the same as well. So just make sure that you register for it then and there itself by like today itself, so that you don't miss the opportunity of not joining this workshop. And yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you.
yes, sir. Like if you would like
I'll
to drop.
leave now.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you all
I'll,
for
I'll
joining
just
and for your
I'll get
patience.
them a walkthrough like how they can submit the
Yes,
tasks,
sure.
sir. So yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much
you
for
all.
it. Everyone, please, like anybody who would like to share the screen who have already submitted the task, because like I'm not from student perspective, I will not be able to guide you better. Anyone, Adrika, yeah, please.
Yeah, just a second, please.
Yeah, please. So everyone, this is the way how you have to submit the task on the portal. Whenever you will be assigned, you would be getting an email also. And also after the session, I'll be sharing you a personal email as well, like where we can guide you like how you can submit the assigned task to you. So just give us a minute.
Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just share your screen like. Yeah, it is visible now. Yeah.
Okay.
Like everyone, just please make sure that as soon as you log in, you have to go on My Projects, as she is already there. So yeah, you have to go on My Projects. You are able to see like your project name, status, and team and task and all. So in task in progress, it is written as 1, right? So what you have to do is like under the action point, you have 3 icons. One is the I1, where you can view your application. One is the edit one, and the last one is the task one. So you just have to click on that particular tab button, and you would be landing upon this particular page where we have given you like what this task is all about. Since she has already submitted it, so this is the updated version. Like you can see, like as soon as you click on this blue button that is there under the actions. So here, what you have to do is like you just have to assign in progress or submitted. If you're submitted, you have to change the status to submitted, and date is like it since it was done today or yesterday, whatever it was, you just have to update it accordingly and upload the document. So here you are able to see that there are three uh, like lines written: upload document in black, view uploaded document in blue, and see in a task PDF in black. So as you click on this upload document, like the black version of it, as soon as you click on that, you would be getting an option to upload this document, like the document which you have already shared. Since she has already completed it, so you are able to see that as a view uploaded document. So in that way, you would be able to see what the task that you have submitted. So this is the way you have to go on this particular thing and click on black upload document, and then you can submit your like task in the form of presentation or Word document, whichever is given to you. Right? I hope am I clear to you? And then you can click on the save button, and then your task would be completed. So as soon as you save, uh, okay, and you go on to my projects again back. So here you are able to see that task progress, it is still in progress, so it will be like updated, but this is the way it can be like you have to submit it on the portal basically. I hope am I clear to everyone? Any questions that you have? Great. Okay, so thank you everyone. I would request each and every one of you to like please register yourself on the portal for the next upcoming workshops that we have on 26th and 28th. I've given the details and all, so just make sure that you register. Otherwise, I have to call you like on one to one, like on personally. So I don't want to do that, and like attendance is also necessary because for getting into the next stage, interaction with the speaker and your availability and doing the task on time is also important. So you have to attend these workshops. Also, from next time onwards, just make sure that you are attending with like with your name, and in bracket you have your team name. Like you can edit it accordingly, right? So that we can make a note of it, like which team joined and which team wasn't there in this session. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Wishing you all a very happy Holi, and see you on 26th. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for your time.